One thing I wanted to start with today was something interesting that I found out about. When it comes to Facebook advertising, is the fact that they're running out of ad space in the newsfeed. So that's why they're looking for other places to do ads, like, they've been doing Instagram, and I think somebody even told me that I think the ads are starting to show up in groups, so don't be surprised when we start seeing ads in our group. But the point of all this is that because there's so much competition, it's up to you to be able to cut through the noise if you want to be able to truly make your ads more effective and to be able to really accomplish what you want with them. Which brings me to my first key point before starting any ad campaign is you need to figure out what your objectives are. And I know it seems basic, but sometimes folks forget that. So it's a good idea to figure out why are you starting your ad campaign? Is it to grow fans for your Facebook page, your business page? Are you just trying to get exposure for your business? Or are you actually looking to sell a particular product or service that you have? Maybe you're trying to drive traffic to sign up for a webinar, for instance, or you've got a special sale. Actually, the holidays are rapidly approaching, and now is the time actually to start planning that. I'm actually probably going to be talking about that on my Facebook page later this week, because I just did a presentation about that last week in person. So I'm thinking I'm going to repurpose and do that maybe on Wednesday. But anyway, so that's the first thing you need to do before you start any ad campaign is figure out what is your objective, what are your goals, and then now when you get into starting to deal with the actual advertising is you need to identify specific target audience. And one of the great things about Facebook, as opposed to like Google ads, for instance, is that you can really get specific. In fact, if you're using the Facebook Ads Manager, actually they have this audience insights feature where you can really, go down deep and target people based on the pages they follow, for instance, and their general activity on Facebook. You can target people who by like relationship status, folks that are married or engaged, all sorts of different things, of course, gender, career, geographic locations, all of this stuff. But being able to really target is the right audience is absolutely key to being able to get things going, because that's going to help to boost engagement, and it's also going to cut down on how much you spend on your ads, which of course is what we all want to do, because even though you can advertise fairly inexpensively, and in fact, one thing a lot of folks recommend is to set yourself a budget, which is the other point that I need to make, is set yourself a budget. Figure out how much you want to spend on your Facebook ads, and then set a time frame. So it's really good to, the longer your ads run is the better chance you're going to have to be able to make them effective. So let's say you budgeted $100 for your ad campaign. Well, then what you could do is you could let it run for 10 days and just set a budget of $10 a day. And you'd be surprised that you could actually do pretty well. In fact, I think I haven't advertised on Facebook in a while, but the last time I did, I believe I did it for when I was I think I was doing a webinar, and so I was advertising to be able to drive people to the webinar, and I believe that's what I did. I mean, I limited it to, in fact, I might have even done $5 a day, actually, but I did get some, I did get some traction with that, and I actually got a few conversions. So you don't have to spend a ton of money, but I would say do allocate. If you're going to commit to it, commit to it. If you're going to go ahead and advertise, do budget some money for it and take the time, because again, the longer you do it, the better. Now, okay, the next thing is, once you figure out your audience, now you got to figure out how to craft that ad and speak to them in a way that is going to appeal to them. So you've got to be able to make sure that your message uses the right tone and language that they speak. So just to give you an example, if you are advertising to people in like, the high tech world, you're not going to use touchy-feely language, for instance. They want probably just the facts, and you want to keep it like that. But so it just depends on who your audience is and then the language you use. And of course, if you're, I hope that, possibly you may be blogging right now, and that's part of blogging, is being able to use that right language to be able to attract your right audience. So that's helpful. Hang on, I need to take a quick drink of water. Thirsty already. Good morning. Good to see everybody here, by the way. I love seeing you guys here. So what works? Well, I tell you one thing that is very powerful, and it's something that I've actually taken classes in before. I've invested in some video marketing courses in the past, is video ads. And here's the customers who watch videos are 1.81 times more likely to purchase than non-video viewers. So you might want to seriously consider using video in your advertising. Of course, before you do this, you need to double check with Facebook, because they do have certain video ad requirements, including how long the ad can be, how big it can be. But frankly, how long is short. You don't want a long Facebook ad, because let's face it, people have short attention spans. So, there's a reason why they had 30-second commercials on TV and then even 15-second commercials on TV, right? You got to keep it short and sweet and get right to the point. So focus on your strongest selling points in like the first 10 to 20 seconds. And frankly, I would say your ad should really, if you're doing a video ad, I would think it shouldn't even run more than 30 seconds because of that. To be able to grab someone's attention, you want to keep it quick and short, and that'll be the best way to go. And also, don't forget to add captions to your videos. So because some Facebook users initially play the video without sound. I think now they are, though I think I read, though, actually Facebook is testing where they're actually having them autoplay with the sound, so that might not be as big a deal, but I would still, they give you the option to add captions, make sure you do that. Okay, next thing to keep in mind when you're creating your ad is the visual, because that image that you're using is what you want to be able to really grab someone's attention, so it's got to be something that's gonna grab them. So think about what colors you're going to use, what images, but also keep your brand in mind when you're designing your ad as well, because think about what aesthetic that you want to convey. So you don't want to have something that's like totally off brand, because then people are going to be kind of disconnected when they like go to your Facebook page and it looks totally different or the language is different. They're going to be like, I don't understand. So keep that in mind when you're designing your ad as well. Headlines. Let's talk about headlines. So this is one of the most important keys, I would say, to being able to do to have your ads be effective, is to have a short and punchy headline. You want it to go straight to the point of the ad. And there's a statistic that I have used for years. It initially applied to blogging, but I think it applies to Facebook ads as well, is that 8 out of 10 people never make it past the headline. So if you don't have a good headline that's going to pique their interest and say, "Woo, that sounds interesting," they're never going to click. And that's what you want. You want people to be able to click on your ad so that they will take the action that you want them to do. So here's a few tips of what great Facebook ad headlines are. So number one, they are usually short and clear, like I said. Use numbers. If you can use numbers in there to say, like for instance, if you're having a sale, certainly you want to use a number, say save 50% right now or something like that. Emphasize the product or benefits, of course. You definitely want to do that. And you can ask a question. Questions are always good to get people's curiosity, and use action words too. Don't use those be. No, we want action. Take action now. And which leads me to the last thing. Include a call to action. Tell them what you want them to do, because people need to be told. Let's face it. If you don't tell them what to do, you're going to have a hard time really getting them to do that. So there you go. All right. So next point I wanted to get to is the actual ad copy itself when you are writing your ad. So again, focus on what you can offer your audience. And that's where, again, keep in mind the benefits, not the features. Now, and I'm sure you guys are all pretty savvy, but I'll just explain to you again. So here, all right, so I've got this lovely little lip gloss. So it is small, and it is a red color, and this part is black, and it has this little, I can open it, a little wand you can take out. Okay, so these are all features of the lip gloss, but what's the benefit of it is it's small, so it easily fits in your purse. It's red, so it makes your lips stand out, and you can be seen. So those are benefits. So that's what you have to keep in mind when you're writing ad copy, when you're writing any type of advertisement for your product or service, is to keep in mind the benefits, because really, if you can really drill down into why somebody needs this particular product, what it's really going to do for them, like they say, a sports car, they don't sell it necessarily that it has a V6 engine. They sell that it's, you're going to look great driving down the road in it, and you're going to have this, lovely, handsome man or lovely girl beside you. That's what they're selling, sex, when they're selling cars, right? So keep that in mind. Keep the benefits in mind. But of course, you also want to get the points across in a clear and concise manner, because you've got a limited amount of space. Facebook does not give you, a whole bunch of room to be able to write that. So make sure that it's clear, because flowery language is just going to muddle your message. And again, action verbs make it more energizing for the reader, because they trigger that decision-making part of your brain. So take advantage of it. So here's an idea. You can, some of the things you could do is address the fear of losing money or making the wrong decision in your ads. And you do that by providing like trust signals or social proof. So you can say, so many other people maybe have bought this product and benefited from it, as an example, something like that. Oh, and one other point to keep in mind as well is to employ urgency to get people to take action. So say like this is a last minute deal. You've only got, this offer expires tomorrow, so you've got to get in now. Or, we only have a limited number of items, so buy now. These are the types of things that you can do as well. All right, I'm going to take one more drink of water real quick here. And then I'm going to kind of go over a few mistakes to avoid. There we go. Sorry. Okay. All right. So some of the key mistakes people make when it comes to advertising. One of them, and this is, like I said, this is Facebook Ads 101, so I can't get into all of the other stuff right now, because I've spent, that's for the next course, let's put it this way. But things like not installing the Facebook pixel. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with this, but a pixel is basically a code that Facebook will give you when you're setting up an ad, so that you can put it like in the code of your landing page. And that way it helps you to be able to actually track how many people really do convert by visiting that. So it's a really good thing. And then of course, it also plays into retargeting, where retargeting is where you wind up actually going back and hitting the people up who didn't buy the first time. And Facebook has a way where you can do that, so that you can actually go back after those people. But again, I have to figure out, I'll have to do, what I may do is do like later on I'll do like a Zoom or something where I can actually do screen share, and then or I'll set up a PowerPoint and I'll show you some examples of how we'll do that. So that'll be a later one. But for now, I just wanted to kind of give you the basics. So, oh, here's a big one that you should do. A big mistake people make is not responding to the comments on ads. Whoa, talk about lost opportunity here. If someone goes to the trouble of commenting on your ad, you better sure as heck respond to them, because even whether it's a positive comment or a negative comment, this is your opportunity to be able to really interact with that person, and the way you do that may be the thing that's going to kick them over into actually taking action and buying your product or signing up for your course or whatever it is. So making sure you do that. On the flip side, unfortunately, we all know Facebook well, is that unfortunately there are people who are trolls and spam, and they make nasty comments on your ad. So if you do see that, go ahead and delete those. You don't want them out there, because that's not fair. Especially if it's somebody who has a valid point, that's one you address. But anything else that's just really derogatory or something, go ahead and delete those. You don't want them on there. Oh, and this is one of the biggest mistakes people make. When doing a Facebook ad, I want you to pay attention to this one, is not having a relevant, dedicated landing page. Okay? So again, this is part of what do you want your ad to accomplish. Ideally, you're wanting them to do something, right? You want them to buy a product, you're wanting them to sign up for a course or sign up for a webinar. So you need to have that ad link to a dedicated landing page that's all it is. It only talks about what is in the ad. You don't want to clutter it up with anything else. So it's not like you're just, taking it any page on your website. No, it needs to be a dedicated page. It's basically your sales letter. That's where you want them to go. You want them to go to a sales letter where they see how to, they've got the buy button or whatever, but it's all about what you're advertising. So make sure that's doing that. Another mistake people make sometimes is having Messenger disabled. So that's not good, because if somebody wants to actually comment and send you a message about the ad, you want to be able to make sure you're responding to that. So make sure you've got Messenger enabled instead. And now I know we're all solopreneurs, so another mistake is not having a trained community staff. But that's probably, you're just going to have to stay on top of it, or maybe see if you can hire a VA